Hello, BookTube. I'm here on a Tuesday, not with a Tuesday tag. It's not that there are, well, there's a couple out there that are interesting. There's the TBR tag that I'm pondering a few questions, what to answer with. So I'll probably do that in the next day or two, hopefully. There's another one that Steve Donahue weaponized from Lukash at Totally Pretentious. Sort of your favorite penguin. I am still sort of pondering that one. I think I've got an answer to it. I just have to find the penguin because it's one that really sort of made an impression on me at, um, I guess, basically 40 years ago, sometime in the mid 80s. So, is that 40 years ago? 30, well, 35 plus years, 35 years ago. God, it's amazing how time flies. But yeah, and it's just sort of an update, sort of my bookish life. I've got piles of books around me for the last, since the lockdown began. And I got sort of ill. I was still working, but I was on furlough for a while. But I couldn't do physically a lot of things. So there was some furniture that I needed to get rid of in order to put up some more bookcases. But I've had to wait until this past Sunday, where that's been removed now, and I've got these. I got 10 boxes, 11 boxes of journals, book related journals like the Book Collector, the Library, and a few others, bits and pieces that I had out in the hallway of my building here, and the landlord was freaking on that, and so I had to get those in. So they've been brought in, which sort of kills the space that I wanted to start sorting things. But I'm gonna have to work with what I got, and hopefully over the next few weeks, especially next week, not this weekend, but the weekend after, from Wednesday to Sunday, I have off. So hopefully I can start organizing that. It'll be a slow process because I want to reorganize my books about books here. I've got beside me here. I've shown stuff on my sort of transport, but that sort of has sort of fallen, sort of not dead at the moment, but I'm not a lack of interest at the moment, I should say, for that. So I need to rearrange those so I can put those put things there, and it'll be more of the books about books as well as some of the journals in behind, so I can start collating and find out what kind of runs I have of these journals, and to know what's in there to start reading as well. But yeah, so that, and then I've got my African stuff along the top that was put up there 2 years ago now, and it was a bit of a mistake. I shouldn't have put it all the way up there because I can't access it. At least I can't now, the way my leg is. So that's got to come down, and then the transport stuff will probably wind up going up there. So clear up space, and the African stuff will go in to where my bed is, the other side of the room. Um, I got some small bookcases that will sit in front of these, but they're easily movable, so I can put them in front. And it's sort of my London and English history that's on the other side here. Three bookcases full, including all along the top. So I want to get the African stuff sorted, and hopefully start doing shelf tours again. And so I've got quite a bit. I've got, like, there's 3 shelves of African stuff that are these Billy bookcase shelves worth. Plus I've got another one at least, if not more, with Zulu. So probably 4, maybe 5 shelves of African history, which I'm quite pleased at. And getting to African history, I've been reading a little bit. I started reading yesterday, Saul David's The Zulu, The Heroism and Tragedy of the Zulu War of 1879. I'm on page 110. I'm not pushing it. It's just that trying to get back into reading, I was reading really small snippets because there's still health issues that has to be sorted, but it's one of them ours, and I'm nodding off. Just, you wouldn't believe it. Like, I can even be in conversation and nod off if it gets that bad. I'm okay now because I've had a little nap earlier this evening, so I'll be good for a little while, and I hope to get some more reading done. I figure if I can do an hour, maybe 2 hours in the evening spread out, I'll be happy to get back into it that way. I do have lots of time to read if that's all I want to do, because basically I'll have, like after work, I've got about 6 hours or 7 hours because I don't go to bed till very late, at least now, because I'm not sleeping well. I don't go to bed till 3 a.m. So I've got from like 5:30 till 3 a.m. That I could essentially read if I could sustain myself for that. I'm hoping I can, and then I can use at least, if I can do 4 or 5 hours of reading per day, that'll be glorious to do, and then I still have time to do other things. But yeah, and the other things that I started reading, I've over the uh, I started a few months ago getting sort of periodicals back. I subscribed to the Times Literary Supplements and the London Review of Books. Here's some older. I'm not sure where the recent ones are. I've sort of misplaced them at the moment. But yeah, the London Review of Books and Times Literary Supplements. And I pick these up and pick and choose and read little bits and pieces. Don't read it from cover to cover, but I find it of interest enough because it's a way of seeing some new stuff that I would normally not see, and they're good for doing that. I like the Times Literary Supplement more than the London Review of Books. London Review of Books, if anybody knows, it's from a bookshop in London, but it's done every 2 weeks. The Times Literary Supplement is every week. I'd love to get the New York Review of Books as well. I will probably subscribe to it. It might be next year, and because there's usually a subscription combo that you get the Paris Review and the New York Literary Supplement, or literary, what is it? New York Review of Books. I'd like to add that to these, even if I got rid of London Review. That I'd be fine with that. But yeah, so I'm reading Saul David Sulu, and bits and pieces from London Review of Books, and I started the subscription to British Archaeology. It's a very slim volume, and they did say that it's September, October 2020, and I've only begun reading it, so there's lots here. So I'm hoping to forge through that over the next few weeks. And another one that I started. This is the second copy that I've received. I think it's monthly, but it was 5 issues for £5. I couldn't pass that up. It looked good, and it's very good. It's called the Oldie. It's for old farts like me. And there's talking about splitting image. There's book reviews in here, and there's even an article here and this one of sort of what's the best TV Sherlock Holmes. There's regular articles like the Olden's Notes, Bliss on Toast, Grumpy Oldie Man, Olden Life, Who Was the Sarge, Modern Life, What is the Royal Warrant Holders, The Way We Live Now, Town Mouse. The various ones, and some of them are humorous and interesting. Yeah, just there's a whole bunch of little articles on various subjects, and they've got a section on pursuits, gardening, kitchen garden, cookery, restaurants, drink, sports, motoring, digital life, money matters. It's a hodgepodge of everything. There's arts, film, theater, radio, television, music, golden oldies, exhibitions. There's travel. There's travel section, but the book section is kind of interesting too. Well, can be, but it's more general books. But yeah, so I think it's something that I'll probably continue subscribing to once I run out of the 5 issues. So I'll be happy with that, and I continue with the other. This there is the London magazine that I get, and I'm behind with this. I haven't actually even looked at this one. Oh wow, this is amazing advertisement for the National Poetry competition. I love that. But yeah, no, it's just that this is a favorite magazine of mine that I definitely don't want to miss getting this anymore. It originally started in like 1721 or something like that. Let's just say. Uh, yeah, first published in 1732. Obviously, different owners. The publisher of John Clare did this in the 1820s, and he published several things in here as well. John Clare did. So there's that. And I got 3 books in the mail today. I got a couple more that were supposed to come yesterday. Despite getting a whole bunch, I ordered a few things. This one here, which I've did several videos of the horrors or the potential horrors of ordering online, and I'll get to sort of that in a moment. Not so much horrors, but slight disappointment. But also, you get something that is amazing. Jason Harrigan first hauled it. It's called the Penguin Special: Life and Times of Alan Lane. This is the British. I think he had the American edition because this is the British one. I think British edition. Viking Penguin, 2005. I'd not heard of it till then, and then Steve Donahue picked it up. I think at his Brattle Bookshop. So I thought I got to get that. I have to get that book. So I looked around, and it was very expensive. And then I left it for about a week, and then I looked again, and somebody had popped up on Amazon a copy for £1.67. And it was free shipping because the stock was at Amazon, so I could get it as Prime shipping. And the description was good copy, been read but well taken care of, or something to that effect. And this is what's come. It's essentially what you would see on the new bookshelf. There is a bit of a ding, as you can see in the top there, but that's where we're at. £1.67. I don't know how you could ship it for that, but yeah, there you go. That I'm super pleased for that. It looks like it's all there, all the pages, and I don't think it's been read. Jeremy Lewis, I have the writer. I have his Tobias Smollett, which was very good. So, and he's done a Cyril Connolly as well, which looks like it could be interesting. And just sort of supplement or complement my Zulu sort of books. South Africa has always been an interest of me as well as all of Africa. The pre-colonial travel exploration is interesting as well. But there was 2 books that I remember reading in the 80s. Small histories of South Africa. So, and lacking, it's just hard to find really good histories of South Africa. If anybody knows one, I do have a bigger one that's up on top there that got again moved up there. But other than really expensive academic histories, it's difficult to find. And these were 2 that I remember fondly reading in the 80s. I'm sure I had this in paperback. It might have been even from the library. It's History of South Africa. It's translated from the French. Robert Lacour Gayet. It's Cassell. Published in 1977 in English, originally 1970. And again, it's short. It's 350 pages, so there's so much history, but it's a good overview. So I thought I'd start again with that and sort of see if I remember them as good as they are. I remember this one, I think, better. Maybe it's because of the translation. But John Selby, Short History of South Africa, and it is short. It's 250 pages at best. Yeah, 250 pages. So 100 less than that one. And it's with George Allen and Unwin, 1973, I think this is. Yeah. And it's a typical, like, there's a lot of the George Allen Unwin that has the same look to the book, same sort of design, where there's a photo here and the name and the color, and yellow is a big one. So that's probably Cape Town or Pretoria. I think Cape Town on the front, and then I think that's Kimberley mines, diamond mines, an older photograph on the back. But yeah, so this will be an interesting delve back into uh, South African history, um, because I was interested in this in like all during the 80s. Well, I read a lot during the 80s, as much as I could find, and that's where I discovered too James Michener's The Covenant, which I really love, and I've just recently, in the past couple of years, bought a used copy, a really rough copy, but I read that again, and I just loved it. I really really like it, and it's sort of I sort of had fond memories of James Michener's The Covenant, but I sort of thought, well, it's got to be just very bestseller type stuff, and it can't be very good anymore. And I thought, but I was blown away at how much I enjoyed it again, and I'd like to read more. I've read The Source. I think that's the only two that I've actually read. The Source, which is a archaeological sort of history of a tell. It's based on, I think, either Jerusalem or uh, was it Jerusalem or even Megiddo? I can't remember. Maybe Megiddo. Um, but anyway, it's based on a real sort of tell in Israel, and it sort of goes through prehistoric times all the way up in this history of this city, modern, coming right up to modern times, and I really enjoyed that. And I read that as well, and then it was actually part of an ancient history course that I took in university. So I read it again. So I'd read that twice and enjoyed it at that time, but I didn't think I'd enjoy them again. So I'd like to read more of his stuff. I'd like to read because I enjoyed uh, uh, the what's it called, Centennial series that was done in the 80s. I really really like that. Again, if I watch it now, I might not think it very good, but I really really enjoyed it. It's sort of the opening up of sort of the Rockies, the West in America, and I really enjoyed that. So I'd like to read that, and I think Alaska could be interesting too. There's other ones, Chesapeake, Texas. He wrote so many that are good, and I'm seeing other people on BookTube that are reading his stuff again, and so it sort of piqued my interest again in it, because I think it was about a year and a half or 2 years ago before I was even yeah, I think I read this before I even was watching BookTube, The Covenant. I bought that, so I do want to get some other nicer copy of it, because mine is really rough and falling apart. So I want to get eventually another copy of it. I plan on reading it again, but I want to delve into a little more South African history. But again, if anybody does know a really good, even an academic that it's not too pricey book on the history of South Africa, or parts of South Africa. Like I think you really need like a multi-volume history of South Africa to do it justice, because there's so much there. And then the supplement, like there's periods that I find interesting: the Zulu War, the Boer War, the Boer Trekkers, where after the British took over and the Dutch decided to leave Cape Colony and strike out on their own over the Drakensberg Mountains, um, and that period, but also the period even leading up to that, sort of the Dutch East India Company setting up their colony there. I've got the for the first governor, I guess it is, the Dutch governor. I've got his diaries for that period. I was lucky to get those, and I also got another one, I think, from the 1800s. It's a woman's diary. I haven't looked at it too much. It's a woman's diary, I think, or letters from South Africa. I think an English woman, sometime in the 1800s, from Cape Colony. But yeah, and there's other books I want to get, like I say, other tribes. Like there's uh, Isaac Chaparral, I think it's Chaparilla, has done sort of ethnographic stuff about the Bantu tribes and other tribes there. They're out of date now, but I want to get those, and I've read a lot of his stuff, but there's a few that I haven't read. And then there's a big book called Frontiers. It's about the Kosha people that I really want to get, and more native stuff. But yeah, that's basically sort of it. And maybe some stuff of how, First World War effect it was, because there was some German excursions a little north of that. So I don't know, not too au fait and familiar with the South African aspect, or whether there was actually any fighting there. But definitely those period, like the general history, very interested. But more specifically, as I say, the English takeover, well, the founding of the colony by the Dutch, and everything there of getting that sorted, and the excursions inward, and especially the Voortrekkers, they moved out when the British came, and they just went out on their own. And the more history of Zulu and other African tribes, like the Bushmen, the Sand Bushmen, the Khoi, uh, uh, and the Kosha, as well as others. But the Boer War definitely as well is of great interest to me. But anyway, I'll end it there. I am starting to ramble, but yeah. So that's where sort of things are. Sort of still laying plans to do maybe some other book discussions. I don't know if anybody would be interested in me talking about the Anglo-Zulu War, or what's sort of how that started, and what happened, and um, I just find it a fascinating history of South Africa. It's because people went there, and it's sort of different. Like, I always find Canadian history sometimes a bit dull, in the sense, especially when they're progress west, uh, because the law went out, and then people came. In the U.S. and in South Africa, people came and spread out, and there was no organized government, no organized law really in these areas. So it was a free for all, and that creates a lot of horrific stories, but also interesting stories, and not just sort of going out like and I'm underselling Canadian history, so there is a lot of interest in there, but it's a different kind of history, a different kind of history, and I think it's because I was fed it as a child, and history, it sort of becomes boring. Well, yeah, I know that it's boring. And I don't find it boring, but in that sense, but it's like pedestrian, I suppose you would say, but something that I was something new somewhere else, like the American West. I found very fascinating, and then learning about South Africa, and it was sort of the Wild West of South Africa, very wild and very similar in many ways to the American West as well. So those are the things that sort of sparked my interest. And But then again, saying all that, I wouldn't mind reading back some Canadian history that I have. There's a Canadian historian I really liked, Pierre Burton. It's just his series of building the Trans Canada Railway, and just other histories there. But anyway, I said I was going to stop, and I'm rambling, so I better stop here. It's 24 minutes. Take care, BookTube. I will speak to you later.